Hi, everyone, and welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I'm a bereavement specialist. And welcome, Susan. Always good to see you. Welcome to a
Thank
new
you.
episode.
Thank you, Lisa, and welcome everybody. My name is Susan Capurso. I'm an end-of-life doula and a legacy creator. And I can't wait to meet our guest today. Lisa, I know you've met our guest before, and I'm so excited to learn myself about this wonderful, important topic that really can be a tremendous help to people at any stage during end of life and otherwise, right? During your healthy lives, right?
Right.
So introduce our guest, Lisa.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, sure. So it's my pleasure to introduce Sloane Delmont. She is a dedicated Reiki Master practitioner with a passion for supporting individuals through all kinds of life transitions. She believes that each person's journey is unique and deserves personalized attention and care. With her extensive training, knowledge, and experience in Reiki, tapping, deep root clearing, and energetic body work, she offers a holistic approach to healing and personal growth. Her aim is to create a safe and nurturing space where individuals can explore their inner selves and release emotional blockages and restore balance in their lives. She specializes especially in assisting individuals facing challenges such as illness, divorce, loss of a loved one, loss of a job, depression, anxiety, and other life obstacles. She is definitely the right person to have on this program. So I'm so excited to
Welcome.
have you,
Welcome,
Sloane.
Sloan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm very honored to be here, and I'm very grateful that you asked me to be here. And yeah, this is kind of I like to say my jam, right? The area that you're both working in. There's a lot to be said in death and moving on, and how we look at death in this country. There's a lot around it, and many of us fear it, and we don't look at it in a way of love, and understanding that nothing is permanent here. As the Buddha says, right, suffering comes from attachment, and we kind of get attached to these beautiful miracle machines that we are in. But we've come as these light beings, these beings that come here for soul experience. We all have our own individual journey and our own blueprint that we come in with. And so how we move through life and what our journey is what the soul comes here to learn, to expand on, or maybe to heal, and whatever karma may have needed to be, moved through. And I'm just going to say, when we signed on to come here, this is one of the most challenging places for the soul to be in the 3D, in this earth being, and in this human form. So so that in itself is a lot to digest. But I talk a little bit out in the field, so I hope
we're going to back up a little for all
Okay.
those like us who may not know where all this is at. Okay, back up and let's start with how you started this and why you went into this and what this represents, because we need like help with this.
Okay, you got it.
All right.
So I've had my own very challenging life journey, and I come from a home of physical, mental abuse as a child. And then, a lot of challenges moving through life, out of the house at the age of 19, and supporting myself, and and finding my own way. Then marrying a karmic partner that I came here after 3 lifetimes to engage with. And I was married for 17 years. And then I went through a divorce in my late 30s, early 40s. And that's where I like to say, it's not a midlife crisis. It's really this awakening. And that's when many of us have an awakening, as in like moving into the 40s. And so I had this awakening, and I moved out of the marriage. I have 2 children. So, I was a single mom and all of that going on. And I was a jewelry designer. and had been doing yoga for like 17 years, like every kind of yoga, Kundalini and hot yoga, and learning from a man from India who was actually a yogi guru. So not like the power type of yoga that, it's become in this country, but more, for moving in meditation and things like that. I also have a natural cooking degree because my son had celiac 25 years ago and no one knew what that was. So it's been building, right? But I ended up meeting a business partner, and then going through an epic business. I don't call it a loss, but a failure. And that was one of the darkest times of my life, on top of other things I had been through. And so, my journey has been one to really be able to embrace and understand the darkness. And when people are really in this space of, being lost or going through a place of, this loneliness and all these challenges, right? Like, how do we move through that? And, and many step into a space of not wanting to be here. That's, where we see suicide rates moving up. And so, to be strong enough to hold space for people like that. Anyway, so I met a Reiki practitioner through someone I had dated. And in 2016, after another job loss, coming back from Florida in my car and staying with different friends, I was like, okay, I'm going to start the jewelry again. And I started working for this Reiki master as her office assistant and doing my jewelry. And so long and short, that's when I started getting trained in Reiki. And it just kind of morphed from the jewelry to, oh, I really love this. This is like what I want to do. So I ended up, getting my master training in Yasui Reiki, which is the basis of Reiki, that reopened in the 1800s with Sensei, who's master, Yasui. And then I decided, I really want to get more into earth medicine. And so I took shamanic training with Lynn Roberts, who's one of the top shamanic Reiki practitioners in the country. And I was with her for a week at Omega. And so I got a master's in that. And then in 2020, I decided that I wanted to learn medical Reiki. So I actually took medical Reiki training. So I worked with people who, move through cancer, illnesses, but how to use Reiki with chemo. And so I was trained by a woman named Raven Keys, who sadly passed away a month ago, but she worked with Dr. Oz in the OR, and she worked for 20 years with Dr. Sheldon Feldman, who's one of the top breast surgeons in the country. He's now Einstein Montefiore. And so I've learned, like, if I want to go into the OR and work in the OR for people to receive Reiki during surgery or prior or after surgery, I have training in that. And then I decided to get the cap of all. I have a licensed training for over, I guess it was 5-day period of time for Karuna Reiki, which is 8 more symbols and the highest level of the Reiki that you can go. But it comes from the Holy Fire lineage, which actually comes from Jesus. So Reiki is not a religion. Reiki is a modality that is based from light and love and from Christ consciousness, which is the higher field. And so I work in the field with the angelic realm, with Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, like all the master healers, Isis. And so, we are surrounded by these masters right now who are helping us move through what we're going through as a collective. But so I've had all this training, and so I've been a practitioner for it's about 9 years now. And then I also do a modality called the spiral, which most people don't know. And so that comes out of Australia, and it's a very deep clearing platform through all the chakras. We clear over 22 different emotions in the energetic body using higher consciousness, spiral dynamics, NLP, and Chinese medicine. So I'm kind of a kibosh of everything.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
it sounds like a great journey, though, that you've been on
Yes.
along the way, learning more and more about yourself and the things that are bringing you more passion and fulfillment as well. And who knew? It began as jewelry, right?
Right.
And who knew you'd come this far? And I love stories like that, and Lisa does too. Um, so right now, do you have, I have a bunch of questions
Go
actually,
ahead.
but
Me too.
private practice, or are you in a practice with other people doing other things? And where are you located?
So right now, I work on my own, and I work I have a home office. So I can work virtually, like you don't, the Reiki can go through the computers. And so I worked all through COVID with it. So I work online. I also have people who come, I'm in Newark, New Jersey. So I have some people that come from the city, some people that come up from where I used to be in the Princeton area. I've worked with people in Florida, out west, it doesn't matter. So, I've been in the practice before, but it just seems that it works better for me this way. And if I feel that a client needs something else that I'm not able to do, I have some amazing practitioners and healers that I have encountered and worked with myself. And sometimes I do a referral. So I believe in multi-layering, in the fact that, we have to look at the person in the whole of what's going on. So acupuncture addresses the meridian body in a different way than the Reiki does. The Reiki works in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is very important. So we can go for a massage. I'm going to just explain this. We can go for a massage and we kind of relax the body on, I want to say, like a topical relaxation. But what we want to do for extreme deep healing is we want to go into the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's where Reiki goes. So when we're dealing in the deepness of what's going on in the body, in the tissues, in the cell structures and things like that, that's where you really want the healing to take place. So that's, what the Reiki does. But, like I said, I believe in acupuncture, yes, getting massage, nutritional balance and things like that. And so I have different people that I refer clients to, that I work with.
So, thank you for that. Go ahead, Lisa, you go first, and then
I want this to be in language that everybody understands.
Okay.
So people who think this is like voodoo medicine or something, I want them to understand what kind of energy this is, or what kind of, surroundings it is. Like, what are you actually doing for people and helping them in their crises and stuff?
and then before you answer that, I'm
Yes.
going to add this to that question. So
Okay.
I know a little bit about Reiki through the years, but what I'm wondering is how you possibly can work virtually,
Mhm.
Ah.
because that I would never imagine in 1,000 years. So I'm sorry if I threw that question in half.
And I can attest to this, by the way, because we had a conversation last week, and she knew my stomach wasn't well. And she knew I was having issues, and she also was talking about my breathing. So she picked all that up just from a conversation that we had, which I thought was amazing.
Wow. Okay.
So, okay, so I'm gonna start with Lisa, and then I'm gonna morph into what you're saying. So what you were asking, Susan. So basically, it's very hard for people to comprehend what Reiki is, right? And that's been, when people say, well, how big is your practice? What are you doing? All this kind of questioning. what we can't understand, which is really interesting to me, is, we're talking right now, we are on this computer, right? And through pixelization, through frequency and vibration, we are able to see each other. We are able to talk on these devices to people from across the world, right? It's a frequency vibration. It's quantum physics. It's the element of, like, what Einstein said, it's energy equals matter squared. Everything is energy. We are just energy. Everything you see is energy. So the fact that we are first and foremost energetic beings in these miracle suits, right? You think about, we don't even think, how do we take a breath? How does the heart know how to pump? How does everything in your body know how to work, right? But it's moving honestly in this way of, it's vibrational frequency. Everything, it's pumping, it's moving, it's breathing. That's all vibration and frequency. So it would only make sense that how we would want to heal ourselves would be by going in energetically to address the body through an energetic field, which we can't see. We can't see how our energy is moving through this screen, right? We can't see the vibrational frequency, but yet there are scientists that can show you the vibrational movement and frequency. So Reiki is just this ability that we all, first, I'm going to say, we all have Reiki. We are all, it comes with us, okay? But it's dormant. So when you get Reiki training and when you have what's called a placement and you open up the pipeline, right, like the plumbing, then the Reiki energy starts to infuse through the body. It brings you up into this higher level of mind, right? And so when we get into this higher level of mind, that's why people meditate. That's what the Buddha was about. The Buddha was this enlightened, high mind conscious being who was connected to God, source, universe, whatever anybody wants to believe, in this field that we can't see, that's beyond what we can see, right? So Reiki is tapped from that. And when I'm in the Reiki energy, I've worked and cleared a lot of my own trauma and pain and challenges so that my vessel, when I do the energy work, I'm very, very clean. So what my clients are getting is complete channeling, complete energy that's coming from source, God, universe. And it's this healing that the body of the client just knows how to receive. Your body knows what it needs. I don't direct it. I don't say, this is where you're going to go, right? All I have to do is touch the body or send the energy through the streaming. And I'm going to explain that because Susan asked how this works. Through the streaming with intention. That's the one thing. So everything is with intention. Like anything that we want to manifest, create in our lives, and also what we bring into our lives is all through thought, because thought has frequency, vibration. Our words, as I say, your mouth is your wand. So your words are your wand. They have energy and vibration and frequency in how we say things and what we say, right? So everything is all about this unseen energy, unseen vibration. And so when I'm doing Reiki, it's really this beautiful cohesion and mixture of me stepping out and saying, okay, what does your body need? Your higher self, your body's going to just direct the energy and pull it in where it needs to go. So with acupuncture, people can understand it more because they see the pins going in, right? But, you really can't see what's going on underneath, but it's like opening up the pathways. It's going into different points that, the meridians may be blocked. Well, Reiki goes into the energetic, the chakra system, where if you look at a stagnant, stream, like I like to say, where you see like backup and like the brook doesn't have the water moving through. Well, we're 90% water, right? So where we have blockages of emotions, which really are energy and motion that do not get addressed, that are held in, that are not expressed. It's like leaves that start to build up in the dam and start to block your flow and start to kind of build up in the body, right? So Reiki starts to open that up, right? In the unconscious, when you're in the Reiki energy, the mind, the body releases and is in such a relaxed state that it can then go deep into this healing area. And so it's not voodoo. I work with, like I was saying, all the masters and the angels. It is love. It is energy of light. It is only the purest of the pure. And, you know, and so that's where Reiki is, you know, an explanation. And how does it work through the digital? So in 2020, when I got the Karuna, William Rand, who I'm trained by, who is head and is the Grand Master, I like to call him the Grand Sensei for Holy Fire Reiki, and the International Reiki Center out in Hawaii. He explained that, of course, you know, the higher realm knew that we were having COVID come. And so he was given the new strain, I want to say the new upload of Reiki energy, Holy Fire 3 from Jesus directly. And so it now was able to move through the internet, through the airwaves, without any interruption, without any interception, without any kind of congestion in the field through the Wi-Fi. And I will say that this is true because prior, when I was trying to do things with clients through FaceTime or whatever, sometimes the phone would shut off because the energy would just shut things down. But now that never happens. So, you know, so you know, it's hard for people to kind of comprehend because we're all about, you know, what can we see right in front of us, right? And so trying to grasp around this whole field of the unknown and what I'm working in, you know, people can't really kind of put their heads around it. But I just keep saying, you know, how do you put your head around the fact that we're on these computers? We're able to see pictures of each other. We're able to see us, right? And even on the phone, FaceTime, right? I mean, think about the miracle of that. Like, how's that happening? You're going in pixels of vibration and frequency to come across on the screen so that you look whole, right? So, right. So
across the world.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but it's all science, right? It's all physics. It's all this knowledge of the outer realm, which, you know, Einstein, Nikola Tesla, you know, these are some of the greatest minds, and they have amazing quotes. You know, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, just think about energy, frequency, and vibration. Bam, Nikola Tesla, he said it, right? And he was brilliant, right? Because they knew, you know, Isaac Newton and, you know, and Socrates, like they all had this knowledge of working in astrology and in the outer realm, right? And in numbers and in sacred geometry. So it's just amazing. And anyway, so I hope that answered kind of all the questions in a good way.
You know, the only thing I can relate to is many, many years ago when my husband had pancreatic cancer, I bought a tape. It was, I guess it was a CD and a book. And the book was called Fighting Cancer from Within. And I had this sense, you know, that inner wise, there was more to do than all the chemo and everything else that he was getting. Now, he wasn't really into it like I was and believing in it. Now, you have to really believe and you have to help your body heal. But that was the one thing that I had found that I felt was close to an energy and helping yourself heal.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and
So
go ahead, Suze.
I'm sorry,
No, don't be
Sloan. I'm
sorry.
just still trying to wrap my head around this because I
Okay.
believe completely in Reiki, right? I believe in what I know of it. I also believe in the power of your mind and the energy work. And I know that many energy healers, I've listened to many meditations of theirs. And I believe in these guided meditations. And I believe in the power of meditation yourself and the way that it makes you feel and how you can bring things into your world that you never thought possible. So I'm a firm believer in all of this that we're talking about. My only struggle is that I always believed the Reiki to be um, energy that's coming from you, from another being.
Mhm.
And when you hold your hands on different parts of my body, you can feel that energy, whether the energy is coming from me and you feel it, or whether I feel it and it's coming from you. But to me, that interaction is really important to be one on one. So I get what you're saying. I'm listening to everything you're saying about how COVID came and the Reiki Master decided, okay, now we need to change things because it's COVID,
Right.
and that our energy can go across the screen. And as far as the energy goes with like the power of the screen and seeing each other, I know it's a miracle. I get all that. And this is an amazing miracle, is it if what you're telling us really really can have those effects on people doing Reiki with other people. But that I'm just having that struggle because of the feeling of the energy. I know somebody who has a regular Reiki master come to their house, like as if you and I would get a massage therapist in our house all the time. She swears by it, that it makes her feel tremendous when he leaves. And she can't wait for the next appointment. And she wishes she could do it more than once a month. I mean, so it's there, but I mean, I guess I would know if I had a session with you, right? And would I feel as tremendous as she does after that session on my computer screen? That's what I'm wondering.
Well,
So,
I did.
yeah.
Ah, you
I mean,
did,
she
right?
picked up on my energy and she knew it. And I mean, I didn't think I was doing anything, but there I was, and she knew that. And that was through a screen. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what I'm going to say is this. If I'm working with someone, so I'll give you a couple of examples that might help. So
Thanks.
I had a young man who was referred to me by his mother, who was a client of mine. And I think I shared this with you, Lisa, but I'm going to share it with everyone. So from the age of 17, he literally I'm just going to say he had loose stool and was having a lot of gut problems. He had been seeing a GI doctor, and when he came to me, he was extremely thin, could not hold any weight, and was in the bathroom multiple times a day. And, and as a young guy, that's really challenging because he built his life around, like, can I be out that long? Is my stomach going to act up? What's going to happen? And sometimes he was in pain and on the toilet for hours. Anyway, so long and short, in that state, when I first started working with him, seeing him in person to work on the body, yes. If someone's like in a chronic stage in the physical aspect, then having it done in person, I always like to start that way. But if it's not available, then I can always tap in. And believe it or not, I had another gentleman who had a brain tumor. His wife was a client of mine, and he refused to, he wasn't believing in it or whatever, but he said to her, yeah, I'll do it. I'll lay on the bed and I don't want to see her. Like I didn't see him face to face for like almost a year. And I was doing the healings from distance, I would just tell him, be on the bed, just let me tap in. And I tap into the light. I work with Archangel Raphael, who's the healing angel. And then in Reiki, the symbols connect with different angels. And so, bringing in, I have what's called holy fire. So bringing in holy fire, all of that. And I worked with him for almost a year. I'd say like 5 months, he started getting onto the screen with me. All right. But what happened is the Reiki starts to open up the mind. And so he started to come into this space of receiving and accepting in the energy. And at first it was like challenging. I mean, I was on there and, and I react because my body, that's how I knew Lisa wasn't well. My body, I oracle read what's going on in the person. That's how I usually feel what's going on, where is it in the body, what's going on with me. So I have to be very quiet and tuned in. But the energy truly, Susan, is not from me. I always step out of the energy before I turn it on. I am not the healer. I am a conduit and a channel for the healing from above. And you are the healer. Your body is doing the healing. And what it needs, it channels through me. So one, I never say I am the healer. I am a healer, but I'm not the healer. And, and it's you, it's the person, it's the client who's doing the healing for themselves. It's your journey, right? And it's divine essence that is helping with that. And that's where I say, and I've told clients, be very careful who you work with. Because if you work with someone who has not really cleared their channel, okay, and who comes from a space of, oh, I'm the healer, right? And I'm the one that's going to heal you, that's very dangerous because that's working from ego. And healing and being a healer, really, we should be out of the ego. I feel humbled by the fact that I'm able to do what I am able to do. And I feel it's a gift, right? And something that I've been blessed with because I'm able to channel it so well and do what I need to do, but it's not me. And, and so if you work with someone who has not cleaned themselves, who is holding on to a lot of stuff, I've had clients, people that I know who have, messaged me and said, I feel sick. I had a Reiki session somewhere and blah, blah, blah. And I say very strongly, you have to be careful. Reiki is working in your energy body. If you have someone working in your field and in your energetic field who has not done the work, who is carrying all kinds of trauma still or whatever, and is really low vibration, which can happen, right? Then you're susceptible to that. And, and that's where I'm going to say, like, it's really important to, I say, vet your healer, right? Have they done the work? Are they really available and open to sharing and saying, yeah, I've done the work. Like, this is where I've been and this is what I'm doing, right? And can they be in a space with you where they can hold such a space? And I say sacred in the fact that I tell my clients, I'm not here on judgment. I'm not the judge. I'm not any of that. I'm here to hear what you're saying. I'm here to move and tell you what I'm hearing and what needs to be shifted, and feel into what is an area that needs to be cleared. So, I'm
Is it
kind of
accurate saying you're a facilitator? You're really the
yes,
facilitator for the person.
yes,
And one other question, you mentioned a few times that you work with angels, and
yes.
I guess, and maybe you speak of them when you're doing your work. Do all Reiki practitioners practice that way, or not all of
I believe most of us do.
them? Okay.
And and some, like one of my teachers who was Greek Orthodox, her father was a monk, her aunt was a nun in Greece, Jesus was her main, I want to say guardian and the person that she worked with. So everyone works, with different ascended masters, different beings. And I channel a lot of Egyptian energy. And so that, and also Celtic. So, it depends on, what the person is involved in and what they believe. But I like to say, all ascended masters, so Buddha and Kuan Yin and and Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, like they all were beings that came here. A lot of them came and were in human form, and so they understand the challenges we have of being in these bodies. And so right now, as the planet is elevating and shifting, which is all also why many are not staying on the planet, because their soul contracts were not to be here for this shift and this elevation that we're going into. So, that's also a lot of what happened with COVID, and where I say to people, people are moving off the planet because their soul contract was not to be here during this time. If you're here during this time, it's because your soul agreed to be here, and it's going to be, we're going to move through a lot of stuff. So as I say, it's not going to be a kumbaya moment, because I like to joke a little bit, make things light of what's going on. But yeah, so, looking at illness, death, and dying, I have a woman who came to me recently who lost her partner not even 5 months ago. And, and I've been working with her because, there's guilt around that, right? I'm here, he's not, he left her very comfortable. So, she was having challenges accepting in, what was being left to her. He also died in front of her, like it was unexpected. So there was panic in the body. And so, that sticks in the body. And so we not only are dealing with, people who are leaving, but as caretakers, there's so much that goes on as a caretaker, and being the one who is watching all of this, being the one that's moving through all of this. And so, I like to say I use the Reiki, but the spiral and clearing and deep root clearing around, things that go on. And so many caretakers also stop taking care of themselves. So many of them end up getting sick because, as I say, they're not putting the oxygen on themselves. They're giving all the oxygen to the one who is ill, who maybe is getting ready to leave, right? And then we forget about the self. And so there's so much in that, that, really it's peeling back many different layers, but in a way of compassion and understanding, and also not pushing people. That's extremely important to me. I never push anyone. I may hear and know what's going on or what is underneath it, but I have to let the client and the person come to that space in their own time. And when I work with people who have been through child molestation and things like that, and trauma, you can't press things, and losing someone is also trauma.
It is.
Yeah.
So talk about what you have on your shirt there.
Oh,
All
okay.
right?
So
Explain that.
So I love, I'm very much into, and I'm not like a multi-marketing person. So, but besides the Reiki, I got into, this is a quantum frequency device. It works in the quantum. it goes into your specific field in the quantum. So it's like, I like to say, it's like your garage door opener, right? You have a garage door opener. It doesn't open everybody else's garage. Somehow it just opens your garage. Well, the Healy, that's what this is called, works in your specific information field. So I use it to kind of layer in between the Reiki into the things that I cannot see. So, deep underneath, we come in with, different people don't believe in multiple lifetimes. That's okay. But we do come in with different things. We also carry ancestral patterning. And, when I listened to your videos on regrets, and we were talking about, doing things to please our parents or things like that, right? Well, there's also patterning that comes in through our DNA, through our ancestral lineage. And so there's a lot that's underneath that we can't see. And so when we're trying to assist someone in healing, we can't just be on the surface. We have to go deep underneath. And so this device has 144,000 frequencies, over 122 programs. So it works in mind, body, and soul. And the quantum physicist that created it was a Ayurvedic monk for 12 years. So he's very much in alignment with soul spirit. So there's programmings around learning, around job, there's addiction issue programming, there's Meridian, bioenergetic harmony, there's soul, there's a program called the Gold Program, which addresses all forms, body, mind, and soul. There's DigiNut, which goes into different amino acids and things that the body may need. And I've been using this since last fall. And I used it on myself first, and it has an analysis app too. So it's the only quantum device that has an analysis app. So I can put your information in it. I can put a picture of you in it. If I see you in person, I run your frequency. I have that in the app also. And then you can message me and say, or come for a session, and I run a scan right before the session, and I either put the biocurrent, which goes into the cells of the body, into the molecular structure of the cell and runs frequency, or I just run it frequency in the field along with the Reiki. So I call it it's like a 2 layering. And so I say it's me, and then the above doing, whatever needs to be done. So this is what this Healy is. And I'm just crazy about it. So right now I'm running a program called Coherence. So I aligned myself to be in coherence with you both today, and with what needs to be said, and in coherence with whoever listens to this, moving forward, that it will somehow resonate and be in their field and what they need to hear.
We should stop and at least give us contact information and all of that.
Okay.
So go
Okay,
ahead.
so if you want to know more information, you can go to Sloane Delmont. So that's SLOANEDELMONT.com. And I have all kinds of things there. And I'm also just going to state that I have a new subscription that came out today. So if you want healing from a distance with the quantum and some Reiki, it's $55 a month. You can have as many healing sessions sent to you, or someone that you love. It's a beautiful way. It's very affordable. It's $55, and you can give the gift to somebody if you know someone that's going through something. So I'm really excited because I want to reach more people and do more beautiful healing.
You have an email address?
Yes. So email is sloane@sloanedelmont.com. And you can email me or go message me through my website. And I have Instagram and Facebook too, all Sloane Delmont.
Great. A lot of interesting stuff. I've been thinking about a lot of people who've been going through different, illnesses and different challenges, and of course, losing their spouses. I belong to a lot of widowers groups. all these people who can't move to their next stage, I feel like you would really help them,
Thank
because
you.
they're
Thanks,
stuck.
Lisa.
They're stuck where they are, and they won't allow themselves to move on and to live.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could do that for them. And the people who are dying or people who are at end of life, there's so much, fear, and it's just such a scary time for people.
Would a
So
better client for you be the person who's passing or the family member or caregiver that's taking care of them?
Well, I would say it's either, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, because, I can do the distance healing, and with the subscription, the person, the caretaker can even just do the subscription and give the information for the person that's getting ready to pass. It will really bring the body into a peaceful state. It will help them come into a space of not having that fear and to let go in a more beautiful way, because it will connect them more into the field so that there's less anxiety and fear of what comes next. And so I'd say both, honestly, Susan. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot here. There's a lot here
Yeah.
to unpack. I'll tell you, Sloane.
Interesting.
It's
It sounds
interesting.
like it just, it sounds like there's like some meditation or visualization included in your sessions. Am I wrong to say that?
I do actually, I do now. I'm doing a lot of what's called body energetic work. And so I really believe in, we have to move out the trauma, and I work in, body shaking, kind of somatic work, because I'm learning a lot through more of what's called quantum healing, that we really need to move the body. And so meditation is really great, but the body is holding. And, and when I work on the body energetically with Reiki, that's a beautiful thing, and it's moving the energy. But if people are really stuck, it's because the imprint and the trauma, like my client who lost her partner, that panic was stuck in the body. It makes an energetic imprint. When she stopped breathing, when she went through this experience, it was imprinted. So what I need to do is I have to get her to move the body, to really expand the breath, and kind of take it to a point where, this ice bathing that they're doing, we don't need to go there. We just need to shake the body and move the body to a point where it can start to release in the cells. And, and we don't need to push it to a point where it needs to go into an ice tub, right? This is what I call, that's extreme. And I believe in, like, let's be in the middle and be tender, but kind of like push a little bit to really get things out. Yeah.
How do you have, so just give me an example of how you would have somebody shake or move the body. Like I understand tapping, right?
Right.
So tapping is something a little bit different where you're just doing this kind of thing.
Right.
What would you do with a person?
So what I do is I get them to first kind of ground to the earth. And then what we start to do is we kind of start to, like, jolt the body, kind of bounce the body, right? And start to move the energy in the body. And then I start to get them to breathe deeper through the belly and bring the breath in through the nose and hold the breath. And then we start to really over oxygenate the body while we're moving and shaking, to the point where, like, you kind of feel like, oh my God, like I'm hyperventilating, right? But we're shocking the body, which needs to happen. That's why people take these ice baths. And then I'm going to do different tapping, like into the body through different parts of the body, and then more breath work, right? And then kind of shaking and tapping and moving. And I've had clients that, like, start to cry, like, you just, because it's just,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
release.
it is, right. And, and I feel, because I've done this all myself, like I'm like the test drive, right? So, but I've done a lot of meditation, I've done a lot of work, and I was like, I still have stuff hanging, like I could feel it in the body, right? And a lot of digestion problems come from the fact what happens is the emotions and that stress, that fight flight mode, right? And people are in that when they're dealing with someone who's getting ready to pass. They have this fear, they're in this grip type of mode. You start to have stomach issues because it's crystallizing. All of this is crystallizing in through the solar plexus, in through the gut. And so there's a lot that goes on. And so I do all this stuff on myself. And I was like, oh my God, like I've lost 4 pounds. Okay. Because we hold in the belly, like if you're holding belly, like belly fat, you're holding it because there's stuff that needs to move, right? That's where all this holding, and then we get sluggish in the body and we feel tired and we're dragging, right? Once you start to break that all down energetically and with the breath and with movement, it starts to go away and you can really start to breathe better. You feel better. Yeah. And so it's so much better. And I'm not a big fan of let's go in the ice tub. I don't need to do a polar bear plunge.
So when somebody's not healing from surgery or something like that, and they're just not getting well, you can help them now readjust their energy so that they become healed.
Yeah, well, they're going to heal themselves.
Yes,
So somewhere
yes.
in there, there's a block, you know? And so I'm going to say I had double hip surgery. And I had a week with a cane. And basically, you know, everything healed with no issue. So I sent energy into the surgical room to the surgeon in the morning. I was doing Reiki on myself for 2 weeks prior. And then I tapped into my Reiki community and I was like, everybody, can you send energy? And, you know, and I took no meds, no painkillers, nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
And so this can be done, right? There's so much. And when you're out after surgery, you know, the healing takes place so quickly because the Reiki and then using the Healy, you can draw out, the Reiki draws out the trauma from the body. The heat will come out. It's amazing. I mean, I've, you know, sorry, I'm like talking on, but my son had 2nd-degree burns on both of his legs. Yeah. And I went to see him. He was in the ward because anyway, long and short, I went to see him down at the hospital. And I literally worked on him, and the heat that was pulled out of the legs, my whole body into my back was on fire. Okay. Because the Reiki was extracting everything. He got completely cold. I had to like layer him with blankets, and then he slept for 3 hours. He has no scarring. The doctor said he healed faster than they've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's the miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
It's great.
That sounds
Sloane, it's
wonderful.
really great. And especially because so many people need help.
Yes.
And they're relying on medications or they're relying on other things that are really destructive to their bodies and are not helping them like you're helping. So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's God helping. I'm just the ground warrior.
Can you give us your phone number and your email again?
Oh yeah. So my phone number is 609-240-3538. And my email is sloane@sloanedelmont.com.
Wonderful. And if somebody does want to see you in person, or maybe you're a little too far, you do have some referral services that you can send them in the right direction.
Yes, absolutely.
Plus the
Okay.
virtual, which is really amazing.
Oh, the virtual. Yeah.
Because it came through for me. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. We weren't trying that, but that's what happened.
See?
So yeah,
It's
pretty
amazing.
amazing actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the Reiki on. So you can let me know how you feel later because it's streaming. So, you know, you don't even realize it, but it kind of does its own thing. As I say, I told Lisa, I'm kind of like a natural donor of the energy. So what your body needs, it kind of just takes. You know, and that's really the beauty of it. So yeah, So anyway, anyone wants to work with me, and I do a free 30-minute discovery call, and so I'm happy to talk to anyone. Yeah, I'm here to help in whatever way I can.
Well, as a
What
quick
great
testimonial,
education.
since we spoke, I have been much better. I mean, that was not the intent or anything, but I have.
Say,
So interesting. Very interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we
I
thank you
love
so
it.
much for doing this amazing work, and for you
Well,
and how far you've
thank
come in your life and what you do for people.
you.
That's a
Thank
gift.
you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, it was a pleasure being here with you both, and I feel very grateful.
We are
Thank
very
you for
grateful.
joining us. It was
Thank you
great to
so
learn all
much.
about what you do.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Thanks again for your time, and thanks again for all this amazing information.
You're welcome.
All the best.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.